Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have here at 5:35 a.m. Central Daylight Time. It's 6:35 in New York, Jacksonville, Florida, Charlotte, North Carolina. But it's 5 Chicago, St. Louis, and it's only 3:30 in Los Angeles, San Diego, Fresno, California, Spokane, Washington, Pendleton, Oregon. All right. Crown Royal Small Batch Classic 12 Special Edition. Thanks to John and Illy for this bottle. Still have a good third of it left. Imported Canadian Club. It's got the shield with CC on it, Canadian Club, 2 lions, a crown for the Dominion of Canada, Queen Elizabeth II currently. And you can't see, it's blurry, but a maple leaf above the crown. Okay, so that's a good one. It's got that nice rubberized cork, rubber cork. Well, bottled in Illinois. So produced in Canada, blended in Canada, aged for 12 years in Canada, but bottled in Illinois. I've been waiting all day for Dawn Busters, man, says Ronnie S. And don't forget, folks, the National Socialist Football League starts tonight. The National Socialist Football League. Well, I know one good thing about it. Maybe the games are usually kind of boring and standardized. You know, they're always like 17-10 at halftime, you know. But at least they teach me about what kind of values I should have in my life. And that's important for pro football players to teach me how to live. And I appreciate that type of mind control. I mean, that type of social awareness that wakes me up to what I need to do. All right. Because otherwise, I don't think I can think for myself, you know, being that what I am. Okay. Now, Crown Royal Blenders Mash, originally called Bourbon Mash, but due to the interference of Uncle Slugger, it is now called Blenders Mash. Because Uncle Sugar had to help out his juiced in people. His Beam, his Heaven Hill, his Brown Foreman people. Because they got their hand in his pocket and they're making a welfare song. Okay, I can't wait for the National Socialist Protest League. So excited to learn what a racist I am. Well, you probably are by virtue. Well, I mean, if you don't believe in certain isms like social, you are prima facie that. So, all right, because if you weren't that way, you would believe in the government ownership of all means of production. All right. Anyway, Crown Royal Blenders Mash. Ooh, there's all your information about government warnings, what you should not do, because you probably don't know that. Even though you might be 30 years old, you probably don't know these important things. Of course, if you were 30 years old and didn't know that kind of stuff, you probably would never read the warning, you know. And all of that. All right. Anyway, so introduced in 1984. Nice rubber, like I said, plastic and rubber. Good old industrial chemical production products. All right. Hand blown glass. That's not really hand blown. It's made in a factory. But anyway, it sounds better than I see now. All right. Okay. All right. It's going to be dark due to the 12 years in the barrel, right? Yeah, and probably with caramel color added, because I don't think it's going to get that dark in 12 years in a used barrel. You say it's probably used Jack Daniels barrels, used Old Forester barrels. Right. Pour too much. But once the barrels are used, they don't impart the rich color, because you know what? The rich color is coming. Ronnie, what's up, bro? Says Scotty O Show. Just chilling, drinking a bud. Uh, so once the char wears off, it's not going to give it the rich dark color, because that's what gives the bourbon the rich dark reddish rust red color. The charcoal. Let me go wipe the top of the bottle. So I didn't want to pour that much because I don't want to drink that much. And secondly, I'm trying to be stingy on the bottle. You know, I'm trying to nurse it. It's so good. I'm trying not to drink it too fast. It's so delightful. Oh, so very delightful. Now the blenders mash the bourbon mash. The blenders mash the bourbon mash. The blenders mash the bourbon mash. Where's the cap? Where's the cap? Oh, beautiful plastic cap. Makes me feel like royalty. So there's a crown. And if you know anything about the history of Crown Royal, the crown makes sense. But there's no purple velvet, no red, just bronze and brown and white trim. And so maybe that's bone colored white, you know, like an off-white. But bronze and brown, bronze and brown, like a 1981 Buick Regal. Okay. I actually watched the Tampa Bay Rays game last night and didn't hear BLM or racial justice mentioned once. That's encouraging, I guess. Maybe the announcers will be fired today for refusing to go along with it. All right, now, but they'll probably have to. Well, anyway, all right. I was saying publicly announce to the world how bad they are and how regretful they are about themselves. I'm so very sorry. The Crown Royal is dark, but not as dark. And there's no age statement, so I don't know how long it's aged. Cheers from New York, Mike Hunter says, and cheers to you, Ronnie S. Yeah, this stuff is getting out of control. It's been out of control since like around 1933. Okay, it's just worse out of control. All right, so there's your dark. Oh, golly gee. I don't think glancing at it's going to make a difference, but I think there is a weight differential. But I am not going to pour more to catch up with the 12-year age, because I don't want to drink that much whiskey and then be like, hey, everybody. I had drunk. That's the proper term. Drunk. I will drink. Yesterday, I drank some. I had drunk it previous to the other tasting. Somebody was telling me I was wrong saying that. I said, that's like sixth grade English, actually, past participle. That's not even high level schooling. But anyway, I had drunk the Chimay Bleu, the Grand Reserve in the large bottle, same product. And that's 9%. So I say, yeah. And then I found this grape flavored Smirnoff Ice, which is not common. I even talked to a distributor yesterday, a bulk merchandiser for the distributor who does the Coors and the Smirnoff and Pabst. And I said, I found Smirnoff grape yesterday in the large 24-ounce bottle. He said, grape. I was looking right at the Smirnoff Ice screwdriver. I never heard of grape. I said, well, you distribute it? He said, well, I never heard of it. I said, well, I bought it, and they might only sell it in the big bottles. They might not have it in the variety packs or the 6-packs or the 12, whatever. So I said it was pretty good. I mean, it was not great, obviously, but it was natural grape flavor. It did taste like grape, like acidic. You know how citrus fruit will be acidic after a while, especially when it's warm. You got more of the acidity. So what are they doing? Going to Cognac, France, and picking the finest the finest grapes in France and making Smirnoff Ice grape. basically soda is what it is, grape soda. But in a technical sense, it's a beer. It's 4.5% alcohol. Yeah, right. Sure. That's what they're doing. That's why it was $2.79 for a 24-ounce bottle. No, they're just using probably some kind of, I keep thinking it's some kind of dehydrated grape, like, you know, refuse. It could be from a wine company. I don't know, that all that grappa, you know, that smashed up stuff. They ain't gonna waste it. They could dehydrate it into almost like it's just had no moisture in it, and then they pulverize it into a powder and put it in a canister, and they buy it in bulk, natural grape flavor, and they pour a certain amount in the tank, and then it rehydrates, and it makes it have grape flavor. Now it's not going to color it, so they add food coloring to give it that red. The red food coloring in the blue is going to make purple. Red and blue makes purple. And so then you got your Kansas City Southern Railroad. Then you got your grape thing. It's said on the bottle, natural flavor. It can't be a chemical, I don't think. These are naturally colored with caramel coloring. Second round of chimes. Caramel color is not considered artificial coloring, because what is caramel color? It's sugar that they brown in a pan, and it makes color. You can do that at your house, but you wouldn't make the industrial caramel color. You understand? That would have no flavor, no aroma, because they don't want it to interfere with the beer or the wine or the liquor. What up, man? Yeah, a lot of people in the morning tend to be a little lit up from overnight festivities. So I'm getting some crazy comments here. Maybe they use the Concord grapes. Oh, but yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. Tastes like that, yeah. Like you get in the Welch's jelly. That's when Americans think of grape, they're thinking of Concord Welch's. What do you expect at 5:30 in the morning? All right. Quality comments. Generally, no, that's not what you're going to get. Okay. It smells like Crown Royal because it's just got that Crown Royal yeast profile. I don't know how to describe it, but certain beers, certain wines, liquor, they have like a house style. I guess they use the same yeast strain across the boards, and it gives it like a commonality of aroma. Like drink Miller beers, they all have that same house style. Now there'll be deviations above or below, but the standard deviation of Miller beers tend to be like that. It just, there's not a wide deviation of the norm. And this does smell like the Crown Royal. Over here. Yeah, I knew this was going to give it away. It's obviously Canadian Club by virtue of its really rich, I would call it caramelized sugar nose. Now, I don't know what gives it that aroma. Caramelized sugar? I don't know. They're allowed to add flavorings to Canadian whiskey, but it has to be things like rum, brandy, bourbon itself from the USA. They can use various wines as long as they're barrel aged in what they call small wood. But this one smells so sugary that I get the impression that they could be using a dark rum. You know, those dark black strap molasses rums like Myers is, which is thick too. It looks like syrup almost. Tastes like it. Tastes like wood. If they put that in here, I think it would make it darker, you see. There is some underlying wood. Now, I don't know how you would feel about drinking. I'm fine, Malu. Okay, the comments are cute and funny, but how about we talk about the products at hand instead of all the tomfoolery, you know, Mr. Bad. Okay, so that's just it. The strong woody note, and then this caramelized sugar Uh, um, of course, whiskey, but that's just like a general thing, like generalized whiskey. So does it smell like regular Canadian Club? No, not really, because regular Canadian Club. Oh yeah, thanks, Ronnie. Ronnie's a moderator. I forgot. I don't know why I forgot. I'm looking at the wrench right there. Okay. Canadian Club smells and tastes like honeycomb cereal. This does not. Okay, Crown Royal. I know it's Crown Royal. I mean, telling them apart is over now. Oh, look, it's going to say CR. I know it. Obviously, CR. All right, there you go. So, aroma, not alike. Does one smell better than the other, though? Well, I wouldn't go that far. I would just say it's a personal preference issue. If you say, well, I'd rather wood, like a wood barrel, bourbon barrel, the Crown Royal is going to work. If you're rather the rich, sugary caramel, then the Canadian Club's going to be more in your favor. I guess I prefer both. So either way, I like them. Maybe I give a slight advantage to the Crown Royal Bourbon Mash because I kind of like that bourbon barrel. Okay, so that's slight victory for the Bourbon Mash, Blender's Mash. On aroma. On appearance, it's, you know, what you want darker, you want lighter. Yeah, it's up to you. Yeah. Wood all the way. Bourbon barrel all the way. And I think I read somewhere on the website that they use new barrels, new bourbon barrels, never before used, and then older ones. So you could get that rich charred oak. Remember, you can't call it bourbon if it's not made in the USA, even though it could be identical to bourbon. You just can't call it that. Now, I know some of the viewers are going to say, well, that's just a sheer technical difference. You know, it's a technical differentiation. It could be bourbon. Exactly. But they can't call it that. So they could call it bourbon style Canadian whiskey, something like that, which is what this is. I mean, let's be honest. It's mostly corn. Bourbon has to be at least 51% corn. This is probably 75% corn. They're using some rye, giving it spice. They're using wheat, probably, and some single malt, what they call that in Scotland, malt whiskey. Now, also, a person might say, well, that's what makes bourbon, generally. Not exclusively, generally. Yeah, exactly. So if you want a Canadian whiskey that tastes remarkably similar to bourbon, but with a low charred oak flavor, no, there you go. Now let's go over here. There's wood. It's like whiskey soaked wood. Like maybe they're using it does taste like Jack Daniel's wood, though, no joke. You know, Jack Daniel's has that kind of distinctive flavor. Thanks, Ronnie. You're doing a good job. The caramel isn't so pronounced in the flavor, but you do get a little bit of the rock candy. You say rock candy. Yeah, you know, that's like sugar. So you get that it's a rock candy thing. It's more of a candy flavor product. Yes, it does taste like whiskey, but it's a very, you know which one, you know what? It does somewhat, in some ways, remind me of the Virginia Black. The Virginia Black also seems to have that same flavoring, that rock candy, caramel, sugar candy flavoring. Okay. It's got that same dark appearance. The Virginia Black, if you held up Virginia Black to this, man, you wouldn't be able to tell them apart. Virginia Black is produced in Indiana, and then this is bottled right next door in Illinois. Oh, yeah, there you go. The one that tastes most similar to this Canadian Club 12-year age is the Virginia Black, which is actually more expensive. The Canadian Club 12-year would be about 25 bucks a bottle, and the Virginia Black run you about $32 a bottle. But in my case, I'd just buy whatever one was cheaper since they taste so much alike. So can an American whiskey from Indiana, Virginia Black, taste remarkably similar to a Canadian whiskey from Ontario? I think that's Windsor where they make it. Yeah, they can, and they do. They do. They do. Later, Mr. Malu. All right. Blender's mash. I said this the other day. I think I said it, or I could have thought it. I said, it tastes a lot like Old Crow. You say, Old Crow? Uh-oh. I made a mistake in my notes. I got to go change my notes. It just hit me like a diamond bullet in the forehead. I said that Canadian Club was produced by Brown-Forman. No. You're wrong, Mr. Powers. It's made by Jim Beam, Beam-Suntory. All right, I'll change it. No big deal. No big deal. Beam-Suntory makes a Canadian Club this week. You say this week? Yeah, because they always selling the brands off to each other. Everybody's always selling the brands. So don't be shocked if it's run by Diageo next week. They forever selling brands to each other for various reasons. Okay, but I'll put the correct ownership. Beam-Suntory. Sorry about that. I was thinking of Canadian Mist, which was owned by Brown-Forman until they sold it to Sazerac earlier this year. See what I mean? Got to have a flow chart just to follow it. Well, I think, wow, I think people were really having a good time last night, and it's only Thursday, so how are they going to feel at work? Oh yeah, they're not going to go to work. I do believe if you don't like things, you leave. Here's what I think, and I'm unanimous in this. I think the Crown Royal Bourbon Mash is better. Sorry, John and Illy, but I got to call it as I see it. Look, I'm going to tell you why. It has more of a charred, more of a slightly charred bourbon barrel flavor, a rich sour mash, undercurrent, middle current, really, midway current, midstream flavor. It's so smooth. It's so easygoing. And it just has a more authentic bourbon flavor. So I'm going to give the win to 3 in a row. 3 in a row. The Crown Royal Blender's Mash, a.k.a. Bourbon Mash. The wood, the wood, the wood, the wood, the wood. A winner all the way. Baby, baby, baby. Oh, baby, baby. Now, the Crown, the Canadian Club. It does win a consolation prize because it is very nice. However, you do start getting the impression, nice wood notes, you do start getting the impression that it's got some kind of flavoring action going on. Not like Johnny Nilly says, the objectionable, what he calls an almond extract flavor, which to me, it doesn't bother me. I like it. I guess maybe I like almond extract. What do I know for almond extract? You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's almond extract. I think it's something like some kind of white rum, but I kind of like it. He doesn't. Personal preference issue. And he didn't even say he didn't even say it was a quality issue. He just didn't like the way they treated it. He just didn't like the approach. Okay, it's too bad because I bought him that huge jug of the doggone Caliber, which does have that thing he doesn't like. It was $5. He said if I saw it, I'd buy it. Well, he didn't have to buy it. I gave it to him. All right. So that's the final analysis. They're both good. But if they were sold at the same price, and they generally are around the same $26 price, 25, 26, 27, 28, depending where you go, you know. Mine was $27.99 for the full size bottle of the Bourbon Mash. I would just go with the Bourbon Mash. Now, if the Canadian Club was $5 cheaper for some weird reason, yeah, well, I would pick it. Save $5. It would be worth the trade-off. But chances are you're not going to see that. This thing's been on the market for 36 years. It's a good seller. They have no reason to discount it. And so therefore it ain't going to be discounted. All right. And then it's doubtful you'll see this one on closeout. So anyway, very exciting taste challenge. Just exactly like I thought it would turn out. A lot of great action, a lot of great flavors, a lot of competitiveness, not some blowout, boring blowout like the Atlanta Braves beating the Miami Marlins last night, 29-0. 29-0, one of the highest scoring games in history, lasted 4 hours and 14 minutes. 29 runs to 0. Hey, I bet you the Miami Marlins are feeling a lot worse about losing than I am. But then, of course, I didn't lose. I won. I got to taste 2 good Canadian whiskeys. Canadian Club lost, but barely, not by much. Later today, because I'm going to do Friday today, I believe. I think that would be a good idea. Later today, we're going to go with, of course, this is the one we're doing right now, the Crown Royal Blender's Mash. That's the competitor going up against everybody. The champion, too, so far, 3-0. I really think if it beat the Canadian Club 12-year, it's going to beat everybody. I just think it's going to beat them all. But I can't say that. But it's going to be Seagram's VO, the very demure, the deceptively demure Seagram's VO, age 6 years. This I know because I was looking at some sell sheets for it. Not from the brewery. Forget the brewery. Ain't going to tell you nothing. I mean the distillery. They're not going to tell you anything. But the sell sheets, which come from the distillery, say 6 years. That could be closer than I believe. My prediction, Crown Royal Bourbon Mash is going to beat it. But I am going to be careful, very careful, because some of these things can sneak up on you and trick you. The VO being around since 1911, it ain't no has-been. Some people say it's a has-been because it's an old style. Being an old style doesn't make it a has-been. It's just an old legacy product. So I would be reluctant to write it off. Still think it's going to lose, but we'll see later today. So thank you for watching this video production. Thank you, Ronnie, for moderating. You did a great job. They aren't working today, Ron. I think it may be a protest day. Well, isn't every day a protest day? Okay, I think I like almond extract. I do too. Jeff says, good morning. Some whiskey drinkers in it. Add a teaspoon or less of water to enhance flavors. Your thoughts? I don't see where it really helps, but some people insist that it does. It brings out the flavors, but I mean, I find it waters it down. I'm not opposed to it. I don't do it. I'm not a stickler for those type of things. At least once a week, I got somebody telling me, do not pour the beer straight in. And then they give me all these reasons. And I say, and I don't think their reasons are valid. And I say, no, I'm going to tell you why I pour it straight in. Like one person said, your beer is going to go flat faster. Yesterday, I said, well, how's it going to go flat? I'm going to drink it right now. So now I'm not going to keep it in the fridge for 5 hours. So going flat it won't make there'll be no factor there. I'm not going to rest on it. If that's the thing about beer, you drink it, you open it, you drink it. You don't. So I don't even understand that comment. And secondly, I've done straight in pours since 1996, and I never drank beer that's flat, unless somehow the seal was compromised and it was flat, which in my case it never happened. So I don't recall it ever happening. I had some twist caps that seemed loose, like they came off too easy. You know, they didn't pop so much. That was suspicious. But other than that, I never actually in 24 years ran across a flat beer issue problem. I added ice with my Crown Royal. It's all right. It was all right. Okay, see, so you added ice, a very common practice. Especially you look at the website, shows a glass with ice in it. You know, you look at most of these liquor websites, they'll show a glass with ice in it. Why you think people with a liquor bar got an ice bucket? Well, because people like to put ice, you know. Okay, talk to you later on. Thank you. The show is over anyway. It's been 30 minutes of excitement. So want to thank Ronnie S. for moderating, helping me out. I want to thank all the viewers, even the ones with the hijinks, because it was good-natured hijinks. You know, it wasn't any nasty comments or anything, you know, ugly comments. And I want to thank the companies that made the really excellent whiskey. So, Les Bon Temps Relais, thanks for watching. And see you later this morning for another showdown. And I think it'll be a great showdown. Thank you.